Your brain is lying to you right now, and you don't even know it. In fact, the decisions you made today, what you bought, what you avoided, what you believed, what you argued about, were all influenced by invisible psychological traps built into your mind. Traps that feel like logical thinking, but quietly sabotage your judgment every single day. These traps are called cognitive biases, and they're mental shortcuts your brain uses to save time and energy. They evolved to help humans survive in a world of danger, uncertainty, and incomplete information. But today, they backfire, causing you to misjudge people, make terrible financial decisions, stay in the wrong relationships, trust the wrong people, and overestimate your own abilities. One of the most powerful and dangerous biases is confirmation bias. Once you believe something, you subconsciously start searching for information that confirms it. If you think someone dislikes you, you notice every tiny sign of coldness and ignore all signs of kindness. If you believe a political idea, you only click on videos that support it. If you think your partner is cheating, every late text becomes evidence. Your brain filters reality to fit your beliefs, not the other way around. This destroys relationships, ruins communication, and blinds you to the truth. The way to fight it is to ask yourself, what evidence would prove me wrong? If you can't answer that, you're not seeking truth, you're seeking validation. Then there's anchoring bias, where the very first piece of information you hear becomes a mental anchor. If a store shows a jacket, originally $400, now $99, the $400 is an illusion, but your brain latches onto it, making $99 feel cheap. Negotiators, retailers, and marketers use this all the time. Your brain rarely recalculates. Your first impression becomes your reference point, even when it's misleading. The key to overcoming this is to pause and ask, what would this look like without the first number I heard? Availability bias is another subtle trap. People fear plane crashes more than car crashes, not because they're more likely, but because plane crashes are memorable. People think crime is worse than ever if they watch crime-filled news. If you remember something vividly, your brain assumes it happens often. Emotionally charged memories hijack your probability judgment. To fight it, rely on data rather than memory. Sometimes the most memorable events are the rarest. The sunk cost fallacy keeps you trapped in decisions you should abandon. You stay in a relationship because you've spent years together. You keep a failing business because you already invested so much. You finish a boring movie because you already watched 45 minutes. Your past investment traps you in bad decisions, making you unwilling to cut losses even when stopping would save you more pain. To counteract it, make decisions based on future benefits, not past costs. You're not throwing away the past. You're choosing a better future. Self-serving bias protects your ego but limits growth. When things go right, you take credit. When things go wrong, you blame the situation, the system, or other people. It's easy to feel justified, but you can't improve what you refuse to take responsibility for. Instead of asking, "Who's at fault?" ask, "What part of this do I control?" Hindsight bias tricks you into believing you predicted events after the fact. Breakups, stock crashes, mistakes at work. You tell yourself, "I knew this would happen," even though you didn't. Your brain rewrites history to make you feel competent, but this prevents learning from mistakes. One way to fight it is to write down your predictions before events unfold. Reality becomes harder to distort when it's recorded. The framing effect shows how the way information is presented changes your decisions. For example, saying 90% chance of survival feels safer than 10% chance of death, even though they're identical. Your choices are influenced more by words and context than facts. Being aware of framing helps you evaluate decisions more objectively. Optimism bias is another subtle mental trap. You believe bad things won't happen to you. Car accidents, job loss, financial mistakes, health problems. This can lead to underestimating risks, overcommitting, or failing to prepare for negative outcomes. To counter it, deliberately consider worst-case scenarios and plan accordingly, even if it feels uncomfortable. The Dunning-Kruger effect is when incompetent people overestimate their abilities. Conversely, skilled people may underestimate theirs. It leads to overconfidence, mistakes, and poor decision-making. You might think you're an expert in investing, negotiation, or even parenting, but blind spots can be huge. The antidote is feedback and self-reflection. Seek opinions from trusted, more knowledgeable sources, and compare your perceptions with reality. Finally, the bandwagon effect is when you believe something because many others do. From viral trends to stock market bubbles, people follow the crowd, assuming collective wisdom equals correctness. But popularity isn't proof. Just because everyone is buying a stock, a product, or following a diet doesn't make it right for you. Pause, analyze the evidence, and make your own choice rather than blindly joining the herd. These 10 biases – confirmation, anchoring, availability, sunk cost, self-serving, hindsight, framing, optimism, Dunning-Kruger, and bandwagon – shape decisions in ways you don't realize. They influence relationships, career moves, financial decisions, and personal growth. Awareness alone doesn't remove them, but it gives you a chance to counteract them. Practicing reflection, seeking alternative perspectives, recording predictions, analyzing data objectively, and seeking honest feedback all help reduce their impact. Understanding cognitive biases is more than academic. It's a practical skill. Each day, you can pause and ask, "Am I seeing this clearly, or am I falling for a bias?" Over time, this self-awareness compounds, improving your judgment across finances, work, and life. For example, noticing confirmation bias could help you avoid risky investments based on hype. Recognizing sunk costs could save you from persisting in unprofitable projects. Understanding optimism bias could improve your financial planning and health decisions. Ultimately, mastering cognitive biases isn't about becoming perfect. It's about making smarter choices more consistently. It's about catching yourself in the act of irrational thinking and redirecting decisions toward logic, evidence, and long-term benefit. The more you train this awareness, the more your brain becomes a tool rather than a trap, and the less your decisions are sabotaged by invisible mental shortcuts. Now it's your turn. Start by picking one bias that you know affects you most. Maybe you jump to conclusions, overcommit, or follow the crowd. Take just 1 week to notice when it influences your choices. Write down the situations, the decisions you make, and the consequences. Awareness is the first step to change. Then, next week, pick another bias and repeat. Over time, you'll develop mental habits that counteract these biases automatically. Let's take a closer look at how these cognitive biases creep into our daily lives in ways we barely notice. Think about your morning routine. You wake up, check the news, and scroll through social media. Every headline you click on is shaped to catch your attention, often triggering availability bias. The stories that stand out are rarely the most common or the most important. They're simply the ones your brain remembers most vividly. You might overestimate the risk of rare but dramatic events like plane crashes, terrorist attacks, or viral scandals, while underestimating more mundane but statistically significant risks, such as car accidents, lifestyle-related illnesses, or financial mismanagement. By simply noticing this tendency, you can start questioning the headlines and asking, is this genuinely important, or am I reacting to what stands out in my memory? In work and professional environments, confirmation bias can quietly sabotage decision-making. Imagine a team leader who believes a particular marketing strategy will succeed. They might unconsciously favor reports, metrics, or opinions that align with their expectation while dismissing data that challenges it. This can lead to costly mistakes, launching a campaign that underperforms or ignoring feedback from customers that could have prevented a failure. The antidote here isn't just critical thinking, it's actively seeking dissenting voices. Encourage team members to play devil's advocate or assign someone the explicit role of challenging assumptions. By institutionalizing this practice, organizations can counter confirmation bias and make more balanced, evidence-based decisions. Anchoring bias also plays a major role in finance. Whether buying a car, negotiating a salary, or investing in stocks, the first number you see often dominates your perception of value. If a stock is introduced at $150 and drops to $120, your brain may perceive it as a bargain, even if fundamentals indicate it's overvalued. Conversely, if a stock starts at $100 and rises to $120, you might view it as expensive despite similar value. This simple mental trap can lead to inconsistent or suboptimal financial decisions over time. To counteract it, always calculate intrinsic value independently, relying on data and fundamentals rather than the initial number your brain fixates on. Sunk cost fallacy can be especially destructive in long-term projects, personal relationships, and investments. People often continue pouring resources into failing endeavors because they've already invested time, money, or effort. This happens at work, in startups, and even in hobbies. A company may continue funding a product line that loses money because we've already spent millions. Or an individual may stay in a toxic relationship out of loyalty to years spent together. Recognizing sunk costs requires a conscious mental reset. You must evaluate choices based on future potential rather than past expenditure. Ask yourself, if I were starting fresh today, would I still make this investment? If the answer is no, it's time to cut losses. Self-serving bias impacts not only individual growth, but also relationships and leadership. Taking credit for success while blaming external factors for failures creates a distorted sense of competence. Over time, this can alienate colleagues, erode trust, and prevent learning from mistakes. In personal relationships, self-serving bias can make partners defensive, leading to unresolved conflicts and miscommunication. But by understanding cognitive biases, you can take control of the decisions that shape your life, reduce costly mistakes, improve your relationships, and grow personally and professionally. Start small, stay consistent, and trust that each conscious decision adds up. If you found this helpful, like this video, share it with someone who overthinks their decisions, and subscribe to the channel for more insights into the hidden patterns that shape how we think, feel, and act.